I really enjoyed compiling all the information for this course, and there's so many interesting topics I could talk about within each section. This is the related literature section, and I'll tell you briefly what's here and what I think are the highlights and the really interesting things to read and think about. A great place to start is the link to the history of audio production. This site is all about the origins of recording technology, not just music technology. It was written by a guy from Atlanta named David Morton, and it goes into depth on a lot of topics. But mostly it goes into three main areas: technology, industry, and culture. Be sure to poke around and find all the links. It gets so detailed you might forget about all the other topics in this section. But I hope you look at everything. Some of the most interesting topics are the ones that begin with the word 3D. Some of it is just definitional, and some of it gets into the most modern concept and research in 3D audio. By the way, 3D audio is what I would call a refinement of surround sound, a term you're probably already familiar with. If you look at the FAQ section, I get into the details of both terms. But the essential difference is that surround sound sort of grew up from the idea of trying to make movies and live sporting events sound more lifelike. And 3D audio really gets into trying to hear sounds naturally, like it is in real life. In 3D audio, you can actually hear exactly where the sound is coming from. At least that's the goal. In this website, I've tried to explore ways of reaching that goal in great detail. In this section, I've also given you some historical background into three individuals who made a big impact in the development of the synthesizer, which really made its appearance in the late 60s. These guys were Bob Moog, Ray Kurzweil, and Don Tavel. Bob was the creator of the Moog synthesizer, which was actually an analog synthesizer. There's a lot of interesting history here, so I included a link to a great book called Analog Days. It's the story of Bob Moog and the first successful synthesizer and its impact on the music industry. Ray Kurzweil was an inventor of, among other things, the first music synthesizer capable of recreating the grand piano and other orchestral instruments, and the first commercially marketed large vocabulary speech recognition software. He was an interesting guy and an avowed atheist. Don Tavel was the first person to receive a Master of Music degree from the Indiana University Center for Computer and Electronic Music. He was a pioneer in developing new uses for computers. Mr. Tavel established a computer graphics and animation department at the Indiana University while teaching courses in computer music at IUPUI. Don was the first IUPUI music faculty member to be involved with music technology and teaching students about the power of MIDI, a means of linking electronic instruments and computers. Beyond this, the links just get more interesting in my opinion. The research in 3D SoundLink is all about the people that comprise a company called Sonic Emotion, who created an interesting product called Absolute 3D. This technology has been included in a growing number of home entertainment electronic products, including soundbars, towers, and sound bases. They're now a major player in the 3D audio industry. I also cover two of the foremost research labs in a link titled 3D Sound Research Labs. These would be the BBC R&D team and the 3D3A lab at the University of Princeton. The guys at the BBC are fooling around with controlling 3D using sound, using natural gestures, and the video is great. Be sure you watch it. Also, there's a great video at the University of Princeton link called Introduction to 3D Audio with Professor Chiori. This is one of the best videos in my entire research for this course. My hope throughout this study is to provide you with an interesting set of articles, links, and videos that get you excited about where the field of 3D audio is headed. I've learned far more than I ever expected to just from doing this research, and I've not even begun to take a stab at actually recording and composing music in 3D audio, although I've purchased many of the tools. While creating this website, I bought some serious recording equipment, at least for a graduate student. I bought a set of 6 studio monitor speakers, a Harman Kardon surround sound receiver, a Motu ultralight mixer, and a slew of patched cords and digital cables. I'm really looking forward to making some live 3D recordings someday.